Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Maze Vault podcast. We have a very special guest here in the city of Dubai, one of my favorite cities in the world. She is also one of my favorite people, and I don't know if it's vice versa. We're gonna find out on this episode. She specializes in communication. I need help in that department, and we're gonna find out more about this strong, independent, Emirati, beautiful, hot woman. Today, we have Aida Abousaidy!
Did I clap for myself?
It's a low production, so I gotta make my own sound effects. Started from the bottom, but we're here. We'll get there one day.
I'll bring a tabla as well.
How are you feeling?
I'm good. And yes, you are one of my favorite people who chooses to come visit Dubai. Wait, you've been here twice this year already.
I've been here twice this year.
Okay.
Once for my honeymoon.
Yes. And now for your family moon.
Yes. I can't escape them. I can't escape them.
You know what they say?
What?
The wedding is for them. The marriage is also theirs.
Oh my God.
You marry into the family.
This is a very dramatic start. Oh.
I know. And this is and you're just starting out, so just wait. It gets better.
Okay. I'm going to find
The more
that
the
out.
merrier. That's where the saying comes from.
The more the merrier.
I'm making that up.
Okay, so Aida, I want to give a little backstory about people who don't know Aida. Aida and I got connected through my visit. I remember, so I tell people this. I used to come to Dubai all the time.
Yeah.
My sister and my brother lived here. No, they lived in Abu Dhabi, a different city. So,
I didn't know that part about you.
Yeah.
I know a lot about you, but I didn't know that. Okay.
See?
See?
She knows a lot of things.
That wasn't one thing.
That was one.
And I have a lot of embarrassing stories, but this podcast is not the forum, right? Okay, we'll use it. We'll use a different podcast for that.
Try not to embarrass me on my own podcast, Yarab. But they used to live here and work here, so I used to come visit. And then I got a little famous, you know what I'm saying? I got known. And I came to Dubai like after the fame, and I was like, guys, everybody just knew me out of nowhere. And then I was shocked, and people are like, it's first time in Dubai. I'm like, first time being famous in Dubai. It's a completely different experience before and after.
Yeah.
But I've always remembered growing up, coming here, that it was always like an adventure.
Nice.
It's always fun.
So you would visit your siblings in Abu Dhabi and come to Dubai as well.
Yes.
So that was okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So you've grown up here all your life, you're Emirati. How is it growing up here versus traveling out? Do you always miss it?
So it's really funny. I used to travel out quite a bit when I was in my 20s. I'm a little bit older than my 20s now, but
doesn't look like it at all.
Thanks. Still jeans. Yeah. Born and raised, I was born in Rashid Hospital a couple of decades ago. I went to school here. I did do my university years in the US. And maybe a quick, short description. I mean, I have to say I was always considered the black sheep of the family because I always chose something that was completely different. I've always been interested in communications. So when I was younger, I have to say from grade 3 all the way until my university, I took part in every single writing contest, declamation contest, elocution contest.
What?
And so, yeah. And
that's really cool.
Yeah, I was captain of my school team, always interested in sports. Head of my volleyball team as well.
What kind of black sheep is this? This is not the black sheep that we hear about. Yeah. This is a nerdy black sheep story.
But you know what's so funny though? In the Arab world, like, you know, if you were too sportive or if you were too outspoken, which I was, you know, you're talking about the 80s and early 90s. It wasn't really, what's the word?
It wasn't as open as society is now.
Yeah, it wasn't as accepted, right? And so I'm lucky to have family members, including my mom and my uncle, who've always been supportive of this, do whatever you need to do. And so I had to create a business case for them to allow me to study abroad. And so I chose journalism as my core field, started writing for, the university publication. And when I came back, started working for PR, I've done television, done radio, host my own podcast. And so I've had a almost 20-year stint in the comms field, but I'm very much a communications strategist and like a consumer marketing planner. I love delving into data and analytics and really understanding the psyche, because if you're going to communicate to people, you need to understand how people think and how they function. And I've emceed some of the biggest events that you could think of. You know, I've met heads of states, hosted, you know, people from their highnesses all the way to Prince Albert to, you know, the Queen of Jordan to...
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, and I love it, you know, I think, and it, being on social media for me, I think is just a transition of another way of communicating. It's not the end goal, it's a medium.
Okay.
And I always say that, like, what's your message? What are you trying to communicate? And you use the right medium to communicate the right piece of communication. Like, I wouldn't put a selfie on LinkedIn, for example. I'll put something that's a little bit more business oriented. Okay. But I'll put a selfie on my stories, for example. You know, I think it works a little bit different.
Find where the appropriate place is for your content.
Yeah. And I think that comes with knowing who your audience is at the end of the day, you know? And so I do that in my personal life. I do that for my work.
So do you come from a big family?
I do.
You do?
Well, okay, sibling-wise, I'm the eldest of 4. But if I were to take just my mom's side of the family, mashallah, my mother has 16 siblings.
What did you say?
Yes, I have 16 uncles and aunts.
Wow.
So multiply the children they've had.
MashaAllah. This is a concert. Just every gathering is a concert, huh?
It is. So when we do gather for like family events,
make sure you rent the whole hall.
I have to say, and I'm the eldest. My mom was one of the first ones to get married. So I'm actually the eldest. So I'm not only am I the eldest on my mom's side of the family in terms of like the nuclear family, I'm also the eldest in terms of all of my cousins as well.
Wow.
And so I have cousins who are just being born now, like recently. So they could be my children. That's how old I am.
No, stop. We're not going to turn this into that.
I'm serious. If we went the olden days way and I got married at 16, I'd have a bunch of kids right now.
Oh my God. But how is it coming from a big family?
I think it's great. I think, you know what's so nice though, is I think, first of all, the advantages is you're able to set yourself apart. The disadvantage is that, you know when you have a family council and like people ask you for your opinion, but you want to stay neutral.
Wait. Hold on. Let's rewind. A family council.
Yeah, like, you know, when
See, this is the terms you use when you have a huge family. This is, hey, we need to call a meeting with the family council. With the family.
Yeah, but you know, but you sit on a strategic side because if one of the younger ones, and because we have so many young children or teenagers in the family as well, if one of them makes a mistake, they'll be like, Aida, what do you think? And at this point, I just want to stay neutral because I want to be the kid as well. Because I'm not with the elderly, but because you're the elder, I'm the in between, you know. So I was there before the internet was established, while the internet was established, and using the internet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So and a lot of my cousins and 2 of my youngest sibling, who's 22 now. It's a mega generational gap, you know. I'm about to hit 40 in a couple of months. And I've got kids of my own. So we've seen the 80s, the 90s, 2000s. So it's different.
But that's amazing because you've seen all the different phases.
Yes.
That means you're able to navigate, like you've adapted.
Yeah.
Okay, like the new generation, sometimes it's hard for them to be a human outside of social media.
Yeah.
That's all they know. Like that's all they're sucked into. And like for you, like you've been through different stages. You can do in-person thing. You said that you've done TV for many, many years. So like it's so cool that you can adapt. Like it's different, you know?
But I think it all boils down to 2 things. I think it boils down to people and learning how to listen. That's it. And so that goes hand in hand because everybody has something to say. The problem is nobody wants to sit and listen.
True.
And I always tell my kids this, by the way, this is a mom moment. I'm looking at the camera now.
I need this. This is a mom moment. I need this.
I always say, God, whoever your God is, God has given you 2 ears and 1 mouth. So you listen double the time that you speak. So paying attention and in comms, it's really interesting because when I took journalism, the first thing they taught us, I remember in our first class, was to utilize all of our senses before we create the opening sentence of any piece because you need to be able to answer the 5 W's and the H. What, why, who, why, where in the first paragraph.
I think you said what, why, where,
who, when. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. But you need to be able to establish that. But you can't do that if you're busy talking. You need to
True.
listen. You need to read the lines. You need to read, is the audience bored? Can I make a joke? Is the audience serious? Can I give more data? So you need to be able to read people, and you can only do that by listening. And I think listening is, you've got 2 eyes as well, so you can listen with your eyes and see it, and you got 2 ears, so you can listen to the narrative, and that makes the conversation a lot easier. And people love to be listened to. You realize that everybody has a story to tell, and the minute you offer a listening ear,
They tell it.
they tell it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you get to learn.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's really cool also? I think my favorite thing about you is that you break so many stereotypes, and like just seeing you as a strong, independent woman that's educated, that's Muslim, that's Emirati from this side of the world, and what you do it really well, and people
Thank
respect you, I swear, like even outside of rooms.
Thank you.
So I think like the work that you do speaks volumes.
Yeah.
So I want to know, like, you were the black sheep of your family.
I'm not anymore.
You're not anymore. Obviously, the success, Habibti, of course. Once you move into the success, you were the pride. She is the big pride of the family. Are you kidding me? Black sheep won. Those are old memories. So, like, how was the transition of you turning from the black sheep into, like, getting more success and, like, creating more opportunities for yourself? How was your family in that?
So I love that question. It's so funny. Being independent isn't about like waving this flag of like feminism. I don't want equality. I want equity.
Okay.
I'm not competing with my husband. I'm not competing with the male counterpart. I'm saying if the 2 of us do the same thing and we do it really well, we should just get paid the same. We should get treated the same. I can't run in a 100-meter dash with a guy. I'm not built for it. I can run a 100-meter dash with other women because we're built for it, right? So there's equality in our peer groups, but there's equity in our non-peer groups. And what I love about my family, and now my husband as well, because he's family as well. I need to we've been married 11 years. So
now you can call him family. After the 10 years, you don't trust them for 10 years. Once they hit the 11, you heard that, Max? Yeah, stranger. Okay, maybe.
But because I think family. I think usually people think of mom, dad, siblings. But family is whoever you choose, you allow into your life, and that can also extend to friends. Because I have friends who I can't call friends. I call them family. They'll be there at a blink of an eye. And so my husband falls into that category as well. I mean, not only is he my partner in life, but the father of my children. I have friends and colleagues, who I've gotten to know through various stages of my life. And so being independent means that you need to depend on people because you can't make it alone.
True.
And it's so interesting when we see, and this goes for the opposite sex as well, right? Because you can't do it alone. As much as people are like, oh, soul guy, whatever.
I don't need anybody.
Yeah, but there's no such thing, right? You'll need someone to fall back on. You need someone to watch your kids. You'll need someone to, I don't know, drop off your car for service. We all need people.
I always say that. I'm not, I said this, I got almost canceled on the internet. I said, I'm not independent. I need my husband. I need my family. I need my friends.
Yeah. And there's no such thing. And anybody who tries to counterattack that argument, I'd like to see one person who's done it all by themselves with no assistance at all, right? And so, but it could be your community, it could be your neighborhood, it could be your neighbor, it could be anybody, but everybody needs someone. The level of dependency will change, but to be independent, I mean, you maybe need to maybe there's a chapter in your life that's about independence, i.e. financial independence, right? Or travel independence. But you being independent, what does that actually mean? I think we need to rephrase the question, right? Because I can't be successful if
you have nobody on your side. You have nobody you can talk to.
Because then they'll be like, whatever. She thinks she can do it by herself, right? Yeah. So there's a level of, I think, understanding that we all need to kind of pull ourselves back in and ask the questions, because I think we want things so badly. And I was at that stage in my life when I was a little bit younger as well, and I wanted the slice of the pie or the pizza, and I thought I could do it all. But you get tired, and then you run yourself dry after a while.
And I honestly like to do the least amount of work. And I think being dependent or independently independent It's a beautiful thing because you can lean on. You don't have to wear yourself out. You don't have to do like if you have the same goal, you don't have to burn yourself out when you can.
Yeah.
You know.
And by the way, men do it so well.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah, they do. Men do it really well. You know, they have their cigar clubs or they have their boys club. They do it really well. They do their deals on golf pitches, whatever. Women don't do it so well because we always have something to prove.
Ah.
To who? To who?
Ah, but you know what? I feel like, okay, this might be crazy to say. I feel like men don't gossip like that. Or if they do, it's like very short. Like they say what they have to say and they move on.
Yeah, but they do. It's just how they communicate. It's short, to the point.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I need this. And so there's no back end hypocrisy and all this other stuff that happens. There's no bickering, you know, when it comes to stuff. So I try to channel my mind to think like a guy sometimes because it's very straightforward, you know? I mean, if I need to go get socks, I'll go buy the socks. I don't need to buy the shoes and khalas, just get the socks, you know what I mean? And so you need to train your mind to think in a certain way. And for me to say I'm independent is being very hypocritical because my mom has been on this journey with me all my life. My husband has been on this journey with me for 11 years. My children are on this journey with me. Like, I've never been a mom before I gave birth to my first son.
Yeah.
So how can I say I'm a great mom?
Yeah.
I don't know. He can show me that I'm a great mom. Nobody else can tell me that.
Yeah.
Even at work, you know, the ecosystem that you build from, you know, your supportive leadership or supporting your team, all those people contribute to you being that person that you are. Yes, of course, the onus is on you to create that ecosystem or build that ecosystem, but nobody can do it alone.
Yeah, and then also like when you're building out like your foundation of people and circles that of people that you depend on, a lot of people depend on you.
Yes.
Whether it's at work, at home, friends.
Yes.
So I'm sure like you have a lot of people that depend on you. So like, hold on, how do you, I only have one person, maybe like two people that depend on me and they don't trust me so much. But, okay, they know like they're more likely to fail with me than without me. But how do you separate the two? How do you not get pulled into work so much or pulled into the family home that depends on you so much? Like, I'm
gonna use this analogy. And by the way, if you ever listen to anything that I've interviewed, and I always use the pizza analogy. And I'll tell you because everybody likes pizza.
I love pizza.
Most people like pizza.
You got my attention.
Okay, perfect. But on a pizza, everybody has different toppings that they like. You have their base, your tomato and
cheese.
Your cheese, right? But you could like, what do you like? Pepperoni? What do you
I just like the cheese. But let's say for this example, peppers.
Peppers, okay. When you order the pizza, let's assume the pizza is your life. The pizza comes in a box where all the slices are not equal. That's your life. So the slices could represent different people in your life. Could be your boss, your kid, your husband, your mom, etc. Your friends, yourself. And then on that slice, you may not have equal numbers of peppers. Right? And so your life needs to emulate that pizza because I can't be a mom every day, all day. I can't be a boss every day, all day.
True.
So I time box those things because I can give you quality or I can give you quantity without the quality.
But not both.
I can't give you both all the time, every day to suffice your needs, right? And so my children understand that from this time to this time, mama is at work.
Okay.
So I'm on the clock right now and they get it. But when I'm with my kids, I'm with my kids. So you need to know when to take which slice of pizza, right? And so you won't take the bigger slice if you're full. You probably take a smaller slice and say, this is what I can have. And it's the same thing. I can only take on as many requests or help as many people who need me at that time in a particular day. Otherwise, I'll divert it and say, listen, I can't today. Can we do tomorrow? Like this podcast, we've been trying
for like a month.
You know what I mean? And we made it happen because now this is my time. It's my time with you. So what I'm giving you right now is exactly what I would do in any other setting.
Okay.
I'm with my mom shopping. I'm with my mom.
Everything else is zoned out, toned out.
Yeah.
Zoned out.
Yeah, zoned out, toned out, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you can't. You cannot be everything to everybody all the time.
So was it always like this? Because I know in the beginning, for me, I'm still figuring out life. Like,
no, yeah.
So like, what was it that made you say, listen, I need to organize this because there's a car crash. 'Cause that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
Okay, I have a really sad, well, it's a sad story for me, but I think what triggered this stop was when I had my appendix burst, because I was doing everything, and I was like, I'll do it. I don't need you. And
oh my God.
It wasn't worth it. And so, okay, the moral of the story is please don't wait until something medically happens to you that you're actually driven to the hospital in an emergency ambulance. But you need to know when to say, no, stop, I'm sorry, which is something, I can't be a yes man all the time. And I'm not. Yes woman. Yes, woman. Yes. Yeah. And it's okay to say no sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, no, sorry, I don't want to do this because it's my rest time. It's
Can I just tell you a very random funny story about appendix bursting? I gotta lower my voice because it's very embarrassing. So one time I felt like I had serious pain in my stomach. So I called my mom. I went to the doctor. The doctor said, listen, your appendix, you might have appendicitis. Like your appendix is about to burst. So I started screaming. My mom drove from, she quit. She was a teacher at the time at the school. She left early. She came to the hospital. She met me at the hospital. She's freaking out. Her hijab is blowing in the wind and it's half off. She's like, Binti, الحقوني. I'm like, Mom, stop. You're embarrassing us. Stop. And they did a bunch of tests and they did everything that they had to do. They had me in, and it turned out that I was just full of, I was super constipated. Okay. And then my whole family it was so embarrassing because my whole family was there. It was 7 people in the room. And when the doctor came, he said, everything's okay. It just seems like you're just constipated. My mom's like, shit, fall off, shit. I knew it. That was the running family joke for so long that I kind of wish my appendix burst. At that point, the embarrassment was worse than the appendix. I said, you stupid appendix, you should have burst.
Okay, trust me. I mean, God forbid. It is one of, you know what? I feel more conversations need to be had on the appendix because it's
so small.
It's so small.
Yeah.
But it has got, and this, by the way, this is me after having given birth to 2 kids. And I have to tell you, it was worse. It was terrible.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But I mean, sad, long story short, I always knew that I needed to reinvent my space and my time. I just didn't know when.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And I think
you knew the engine wasn't working well.
Yes.
And it would come a time where you're like, you got to fix this.
I got to fix it, right? Unfortunately, the incident was what pushed me to be more no. I think realizing how important your time is. Remember, the time boxing pizza thing has actually nothing to do with other people. It has everything to do with you.
True.
So I wasn't putting me first, my time first. Because if I'm not okay, I can't be okay with my husband, with my kids, with my mom. I would get agitated because I was busy and I was following up and I was working long hours. And I'm still working long hours, but I've moved things around in my life. So now I'm like, okay, this time I'll allocate for this time I'll allocate for this. And that's made my life a lot easier.
Do you think before you allocated time, it was 80% work and then 20% family, but now you have a good 50-50 flow?
Yeah.
Is that
I was doing everything all the time.
What?
Yeah. I was everywhere all the time.
What?
Wallah.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It was too much.
Yeah.
It was too much. And so then I realized, I was like, okay, fine. I needed to make some life changes to what works best for me. And so now we have a nice seamless, okay, you have the bits and bobs and the little bumps here and there, which, you need the nuts, right, in life. Otherwise it's not going to be spicy or crunchy or whatever. Whatever nuts do. But essentially I've become a better person to me first. So, I'm happy. I'm happy. I don't know what I was before.
You were probably just going through the motions at that time because it's you can't even, you're not in control.
No.
At that point, you're just saying yes to everybody.
I was a mess. I have to admit it. Like, so when you look back, and you should only look back to see how far you've come. That's the only time you should look back. I don't regret that, I should have done this. It just wasn't the right time. I didn't have the right forum, and I didn't have the right discussions. But I'm a better person for it right now, because now I have the right conversations, and I have meaningful conversations. And so riding to school or coming back from school with my kids, there's nice conversations. We catch up. We know what we're doing. And okay, mommy has to go back to work right now, but guess what? I'll be home for dinner. We'll do stuff together. So they know. So we prep each other for what's coming next. And so remember what I said, the people and the conversations. I spend time listening to my kids, because now when I come back, I'm prepped for the next conversation. Like, what are we going to do? So it's always at the core of everything that I do, all the time.
I just feel like, tell me if I'm wrong, but like when I go through life, I feel like by the time I start listening to my husband, it'll be like I'll have kids. Like I'm forced, by then I'll be trained to be listening, because right now I don't want to listen to him. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't think he listens to me. I think he has an ear infection. I tell everybody this. He has an ear infection. He doesn't listen to me. And we need the best doctor in Dubai. Maybe you can give us a reference.
Yeah, some good ones.
So tell the doctor he doesn't listen to his wife. He needs his ears fixed.
But I think, I don't have, this is my formula for my life, right? And I'm not saying it works for everybody. But I think it's just different. You guys are just starting out as a married couple. And there's a lot. Like you have a lot. You have your family, you have his family, and he's originally Jamaican as well, right?
Yeah.
And they're also very like close-knit and family-oriented. And and there's the travel, and you both are hustling. It's the start of your life together. And I think at different stages, even my husband and me, I mean, now we're at a level where I was saying earlier, like, if he grunts, I know what that means.
Yeah, nonverbal communication is a communication.
Exactly. And so, but that's the listening. It's the listening with your ears and listening with your eyes. But you need time. Time does wonders. It heals. It teaches. It can consume you. You can consume it. But you need time. I think the purpose of this podcast is sharing my story. But I'm not here to advise people on like what works best for you, right? I mean, I'm not a life coach by any chance, but this is what worked for me. The time boxing, the listening, the people skills, it's more the listening than the talking. And from that, I learned, and that's helped me become a better person.
And like how this is jump. I jump because I have small attention span. How did you know your husband was the one? Ooh. Is there a love story behind this? Because I love how honest you are, and there's so many different layers to you. So I love seeing you talk about work, talk about family. But Aida, what was your love story? Look at her blushing. I really wanted Aida to blush. She's so blushing. What was it? Did he look into your eyes?
None of that.
The music videos.
None of that. Okay, so I'm gonna give you. Okay, let me give you the unromantic version, which is my version. Wait, no, I'll tell you the romantic version. I don't want to bore people. Okay, the unromantic version is that my husband. What I remember is my husband spoke to me at an MMA center, mixed martial arts center, and my first question to him was, "Who are you?"
Why you have your face changed?
Okay.
With disgust.
Exactly. So that's the short version. Now, I'm glad he did that, because then we would have had no interaction otherwise. Now, I'm going to tell you his side of this story, which apparently is a lot more extensive.
Okay.
So apparently, according to him, obviously, because when I'm in work mode, we had already run into each other several times before that center, which I don't recall. And apparently he said hello.
That must have humbled him. But you know what? Guys like hard to get. So
I know, but
this is good.
Yeah, but I wasn't in the right frame of mind. So the MMA center was like, everything has to have the right time and the place. And so when he had said hi to me, apparently, it was always like in a work setting or a conference. And so, when you see people at a conference,
you say hi and
you say hi and salam alaikum. And I mean, I say hi to so many people. I mean, I'm sorry I didn't remember him. But
Ouch, I'm hurting for him. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay, but this story goes up. Continue on.
poor guy. But anyway, for some reason that day, I was like, I feel like I know him, but I just don't know where. And so he referenced a common friend of ours. So I was like, okay. And this was the Facebook era, guys. There was no Instagram, just FYI, and Twitter, just in case.
Facebook is still around.
It's still around, but it's for old people, which exactly me right here.
No, it's not.
But yeah, so then I was like, okay, where have I met this guy? I was really upset with myself. So I went onto Facebook to our mutual friends account. I was like, I typed out his name. My husband's name is Ahmed. Ahmed with an A, Ahmed with an E, Ahmed with the H, and I was like,
Who is this guy?
Then I was like, okay, and then I went onto Twitter and I did the same thing. Couldn't find him. And I said, okay, this is really awkward. So then, since I was online anyways, I was like, let me just browse like the photos and whatever albums, because that's what you did before. We didn't scroll.
To research.
But I was online anyways,
but
right?
Something must have caught your attention for you to be doing this much research. Stop acting
No, but I was already on our friend's page, and it's not like we had like thousands and hundreds and thousands of millions of followers. Yani you had the odd 60 friends on Facebook. Yani.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, fine, just browsing through the photos, and the most awkward thing happened. A year ago, we were at this friend's birthday party where I was taking pictures. And he was there, my husband.
I thought the story was picking up. This is getting worse. Oh God, Aida's on a roller coaster.
But I know.
Oh my God.
But then you know how? Okay, one of my weird emails. I loved the word angel back in the day, and I still have emails that have like the word angel and the year of my birth or whatever. So he had one of those kind of names on Facebook. My husband did. He wasn't online as Ahmed. And now he is, because we've matured and grown, and we have proper emails with our names on it, not like expose angel 1 2 3
angel 25 at AOL.com.
So I was like, what? And so I felt that I had been very rude earlier that week, having said, who are you? And so I sent an apology, and then
wow.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I was really apologetic. So that listening thing and paying attention did not exist in my early mid-20s, which is when my husband and I had met. And so I learned, right? Because obviously it's been close to 12 years since we officially met and did the whole like kitb kitab and marriage and all that. And then after I did that, he was like, shall we have coffee? I was like, oh, so that wasn't an invitation. But I have to say, I did ask about him. We did have the first coffee, and then within 6 months we were engaged and ready to get married.
I am feeling emotional. Okay, first you confused us. I thought I was gonna crash. But the coffee was the pickup. Coffee is known as the international pickup of your day, of your life, of your heart.
But I'm just telling you, okay, I'm not a sore romantic. So for me, I'm such an operational person. I'm like, time box this, work,
Yeah.
And so I didn't have romance in my agenda.
I just knew, okay, so as a woman, if you do the research, if you do the work, there's a reason. Like you said, everything happens for a reason. Nothing is accidental. The research is definitely not accidental.
Exactly. But he stood out. And it just wasn't there. I think all the previous times that we'd said hello, it just wasn't the right forum. But this time I was alone and I wasn't working. I was there for fun and, to support a friend. And I think it was just the right time. And yeah.
She's glowing. You're going to get brownie points for this. So say, Habibi, I'll be talking about you, Habibi.
But yeah, and I think a lot of things that I've done in the last couple of years, I mean, throughout the marriage, but the last couple of years my husband has been my backbone.
Amazing.
Like just pushing me. Like he's like, but you can. I know you can. And you know, and which is beautiful. But we've grown up together, you know. Remember we met in our late 20s, and we've seen like through our 30s, and now he's entered his 40s and I'm about to enter my 40s. So it's a journey, and it's so different. So different.
You know, people always ask me like what my favorite thing about Max is, or like how I knew he was the one, and I was like, he was the most supportive person, because for me, I do social media, so it's like hard for anybody to understand and respect it. Or I'm sure you can relate with communications. Like people are just like, oh, you're writing, you're talking, okay, whatever.
Great.
Yeah, like oh, doctora fe, doctora, like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me, like doing comedy on social media and creating content, I found it to be my passion. I was so motivated. I loved it. Like I was doing it every day. And it's been 3 years, and I know that's in retrospect, it's not a very long time.
Yeah.
But I like put my all in it, you know? And I was like hitting accolades, and I was doing things with my mom, and I was starting to get success.
Yeah.
And I would see like the guys drop off like flies, like, oh, she's on social media. And I'm like, Aida, I don't want to talk to somebody who's very public like that. And so I'd see that side. So in my head at the time, I was like, oh, I'm never going to get married. Like, who's going to take a crazy knot? And I love pranks, and I love personality. And I love doing things that were like out of the box.
Yeah. I have to say, it takes strong men to support women
who are not insecure.
Yeah. Well, I think it's less about insecurity and more about the willingness to understand. You know, because everybody has a passion point. And so I think if you're put in a situation where somebody says, listen, I'm going to make the next best thing since sliced bread, how willing are you going to be to support that person? So I think it's less about being threatened by being women, because, you know, we have women supporting women, well, men supporting women throughout, you know, history and in wars, and, you know, your moms are a classic example.
Yeah.
So I think it's less about that and more about like, I don't understand what and why she's doing it. And so people like Max or people like Ahmed, they get it.
They get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to get why people do stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what also saved me is the fact that he's also a content creator.
Yes. Yeah.
So like we share a lot of similarities and a lot of interests, even though it's different genres. Like we come together when it's like.
Yeah. My husband's not on any
social.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's also good.
Had Facebook, Instagram to stalk me.
So
but we both love sports, which is. We found
that's your common ground,
and we have those two kids. Football. No. We play paddle tennis together.
I've seen you do paddle.
Yeah.
See, this is wild. So MMA, you were just watching a friend doing MMA.
Well, he opened a center, and we both we both knew the same guy, so we went to just support. It was an opening. It wasn't like fighting. I don't watch MMA, just FYI. Please, guys, I don't watch MMA. I don't know what they do. It's too violent. There's blood and...
So you have 2 boys?
I have 2 boys.
And who's your favorite?
You know, I will answer...
Is it true? Like, do moms have a favorite? I need to know, because my mom gets asked this question all the time.
So we need to have a podcast part 2 after you've had 2 or more kids. And then we can ask...
I regret asking this question. I immediately regret asking this question. Who do you like?
It's really difficult. I have the eldest and the youngest.
When the heat gets returned, I can't take it. I thought I was doing something. She is a major in communications. Yalahui. Okay, who do you like more, me or Momo Fett?
You know, she... Okay, you know why I love Mama Wafa, I'll tell you. She is such a beautiful representation of everything I know of mothers from this part of the world, because I'm like, oh, my mom, oh, my aunt, oh, my grandma, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so you fall in love with what you know.
True.
Which, that's, well...
So you true... Wait!
No.
Why am I...
I love you equally in different ways.
Damn it! She likes Momo Fett.
No, but you love familiar things. You know, familiar smells, familiar sounds. That's Mama
But I
Wafa.
think like I'm more familiar to you because we've hung out more than you and Mama
Yeah, but that's
Wafa.
what I'm saying. I love you both the same, but different.
I've hung out more than you, so you're more familiar with me.
But I've known my mom all my life.
Moving along. Moving along.
You can see she doesn't like conflict. Or art.
She's too good at this. She's quick and she's good with the returns. She stick it right up your stomach. Ow. Okay, so listen. So moving on from TV.
Yeah.
What are you doing now?
So look, I've always had a day job. I know this is very difficult for people on social media to understand.
Ow. Sheesh.
Like I wake up in the morning.
Can I tell you, like, on this podcast, I've been called broke. I've been called.
But I wasn't referring to you. Like you. No, but
now
you,
I don't understand.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think it's a lot. It's very hard for entrepreneurs or startups to work because you work all the time.
Yeah.
I have a start and stop time. I have a contract that says you get to the office at this time, which is actually a lot easier. It's a lot safer. It's a lot easier. You have a lot harder. A lot less safer environment because you don't know where your next paycheck, which is very hard, by the way. And
Yeah.
I appreciate that a lot. I have to say that though. But because I didn't enter the social media era until much later, I've always had that notion that you have to go to the office. My dad, Allah yarhamah, was a military man.
Yarhamah.
So you need to wake up, grind 8 to 5. Remember,
Very structured.
Remember, I'm in that generation where I sit in the council, but I'm also the youth, you know? So I come from that mentality of you need to wake up in the morning, you need to go to the office, whatever the office is, you need to grind, work, whatever, put in your 8 hours, 9 hours. And so I've always done that. What I did on the side was I was a columnist for 2 years. I was on television. Do you know the show The View? Where they had
Yes.
the 4 women? So we had a similar version of The View called Her Say.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was me, the Emirati. We had Jess, the Australian. We had Alejandra, a Hispanic American. And we had Tia, who is Indian. So a nice representation of what the different nationalities of Dubai make up. And we talked about non-political issues, non-religious issues and stuff. I've emceed, moderated sessions, did a whole podcast also with Kef Connect.
What was the podcast about? I'm so curious. Your podcast.
It was mainly about discussing money. So the guests that we would have came from different genres. So you had investment bankers all the way to young kids discussing savings, even how to invest as a woman. We had groups of young teens. I'll send you the links. It's quite fun.
I want to see.
Yeah,
I'd love that.
Watch the kids one. It's so funny. Even with influencers and content creators, you know, how do you make your money? What does it actually mean? You know, how to sustain an income and how do you invest your income? How do you diversify your portfolio? You know, where do you put your money in? It's very interesting conversations as well. Yeah. So just going back to, I've always had a 9 to 5 job, 8 to 5, 9 to 6, 9 to 5, since I was 20. So.
And do you like it?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it. I mean, I can't grind for as long as I would like to. I mean, I could pull off 3-4 days with very little sleep. Now, if I don't get my sleep in like a day,
You're done.
don't talk to me. So my husband's like, oh.
Nonverbal. He could already
Like,
see.
He's like, oh, yep, don't talk to her. But yeah, so now I'm actually entering my 10th year in the government of Dubai. So prior to this, I used to work in Masdar, which is an energy company in Abu Dhabi. And before that, I was in Dubai Holding. And then before that, so this is my 4th main job outside of the freelance stuff that I do. I also am the co-development editor of an online magazine. So we help a lot of people like write. Also
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know this. I feel so out of the loop. I'm learning so much about you on this podcast.
I know, but I do a lot. Remember the stuff I was telling you? I did so much. And
yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I give my time. So if I need to sit in like board meetings and stuff, like it's once or twice a year. So I have my commitments, and then I opt in and out, and I say, okay, I'm committed this time. So I prioritize family work, and then everything else is secondary.
So do you work a lot with influencers?
I do, but we now choose to work with key opinion leaders. So they could be anybody from chefs to athletes to content creators to influential people. So just because people have a social following doesn't qualify you under the key opinion leader category.
Oh, okay. The numbers don't translate. Okay,
yeah.
not all the time. Don't think you're hot because you have 100,000 mama fat on Instagram, 171,000 Momo effect. That doesn't mean your key opinion what? Speaker,
Leader.
right? Leader.
Technically, she does qualify.
Bas, Aida, you were doing so well.
Because she also authored a book.
Oh my God. So proud of my
I
mom.
know.
I went from talking bad about her to going up.
But yeah,
oh my God.
but she's a classic example for multiple reasons, right? And
Yeah.
So okay, so let me just put this into context when I say who we work with, because I think with any company, let's say you're a water bottle distributor, maker, founder, versus I don't know, a sportswear a brand versus a tourism authority. The end goal is different, right? So for me to sell water bottles or variations of the water bottle, plastic cups, whatever,
Eco-friendly things,
eco-friendly, whatever, versus like sportswear or mechanical stuff such as a TV or whatever, versus selling a destination. You first need to know who your audience is. So remember the first thing, people. It doesn't matter who you are and at what stage or where you are. You will always need to know who the people you're trying to sell to. Because if I brought a fashionista to sell me the water bottle, people will be like, how much did they pay you to sell the water bottle?
Yeah.
But if I brought someone
who's health conscious,
then they'll say, oh, I got it, or focused on sustainability. So you need to know who your audience is, but something like water, which everybody drinks, you'll need to sell it in a different way, right? And so we've all seen those Pepsi ads where you've had the celebrity like open it and make the sound after the
drinking.
But like with that, and I don't drink soft drinks, so it doesn't matter who you bring as a celebrity. I'm not a soft drink
person,
right? So you need to know who you're selling to and who you're using to sell what. And then you need to know what you're communicating.
Yeah. Like what your message is. Yeah, for sure.
So, but you need to listen in, right? So yes, we do work with a lot of influencers or key opinion leaders, but we have very specific audiences that we need to work with. If I want to sell Dubai as a family destination, I'm not going to bring a solo adventure traveler.
Yeah.
How am I going to get the family?
Yeah, true.
And so we spoke about this earlier, right? Which is, you've been here, 3-4 times, I think, since we've known each other. And I think the first 2 times you've been here, you were here on a solo trip.
Yeah.
And so your experiences were so different.
Completely different.
You had lots of free time and so on. Then the third time you came with your husband.
Yeah, honeymoon.
Which was a honeymoon period. And your experiences were different. And now you're on a family moon.
Unfortunately.
But your experiences are different.
It's
so
true.
You've been to Dubai through and through, 4 times now over the course of 15 months, I think?
I think it's been 3 times.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
or maybe 4 times.
Yeah,
no, you're right.
Because
4
you
times.
came in this summer and then you came back again for Expo. I remember that.
Yes.
I remember all these things.
Yes. No, and it's true. And I think, like, I was saying this, like, I didn't even know, like, coming to Dubai that there was so much support, or if you had any questions or you were lost. Like, I always came to Dubai because, I was coming with family or my friends were out here. So we were always just, like as friends hitting each other up and finding out what's going on and not really, like, not exploring efficiently.
Yeah.
And then I came organically to Dubai one year, and Visit Dubai hit me up. They're like, hey, we would love to, like, help facilitate your trip.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know that resource was available to, like, people that come, like, if you have any questions or anything. I was always just used to being a tourist, like, figure it out. But the thing that's, like, crazy out here is, like, they really, like, come to support you. Like, if you have any questions or anything, it's very easy.
And we do. And I think what's really interesting is, now I'm going to get a little bit technical, but you fit, even back then when you came as an individual, you fit so many categories for us, right? Because, we have a perception of women. You'd be surprised how many people still think, oh, they're repressed.
I was going to ask you that too, because I think that's why I was very excited to create content.
Yeah.
And I think, like, when we linked up, sorry to jump in, but I'm very excited because, like, I hate, like, even in America, I hate the fact that, every day I'm fighting to just show that we're normal.
Yeah.
Even outside of the UAE or outside, just like the
Yeah.
fact that my mom's a Muslim
Yeah.
hijabi and that I'm her daughter and we have independence and we do whatever we want.
Yeah.
I always still get these comments like, how does she allow you? Like,
Yeah.
where is your father? Is your father in the picture? I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, he is.
Yeah, he
we have a
is.
great family and this is really normal to us and we
Yeah.
laugh and we have fun.
Yeah.
And we're independent, we're smart. Well, this independent word. But basically that we're human and we
Yeah.
accomplish a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think like even when I came here and it was Emirati Women's Day.
Yes.
Oh, I was so excited.
Yeah.
And I think I want to ask you the question again.
Yeah.
I went around asking Emirati women and men, what makes a woman fierce. And that is like one of my favorite videos because people think like they just look at the exterior
Yeah.
and they're very like ignorant when
Yeah.
it comes to like
Yeah.
understanding the culture. And they don't, you are. 2 ears. One nose, one mouth.
It's actually 2 nostrils. You smell double, you see double,
I
you
need
hear
to
double.
listen better. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, but you're absolutely right though, because we listen to what people assume this part of the world is all about.
Mm-hmm.
So not safe. I mean,
one of the safest countries.
not good for women, not good for families. You know what I mean? Nothing to do for me. But it's okay. It's fine. Otherwise, we wouldn't have a job, right? Like it's good because so we work with people to identify what are the key concerns. So we listen in, and then there's also it's a long haul flight, right? Like coming from America all the way to this part, but you're Egyptian American, and so you're automatically within that diaspora. People who have relatives from this part of the world. So you could be, Iraqi American, you could be Indian American, you could be, so you have an affinity to the region, which is great because then the region also follows you because of your content and your mom, and there's the Arabic as well. And so even for us, we're like, wait a minute, we can also look at the Egyptian audience because the Egyptian audience might also be looking for something to do with their family the next time they come,
True.
So we obviously listen in. And so when you come in, we're able to say, you know what, mate? Okay, you do your own thing. You have your romance time with Max, honeymoon, you have your family time. But in between, do you want to see cool stuff to do as a family or cool stuff to do and so we plug and play. And the idea behind it is that we're able to curate a nice journey for your storytelling.
True.
And we listen and we learn. So every time you come to the destination, there's something completely different. So your experience the first time with Burj Khalifa might have been a selfie at the Burj. The second
Now I was
time,
in the building. They let me in the
they
building.
let you in the building.
We're getting up there.
Thank you, security. but then somebody else might want to have afternoon tea at the 152nd, right? Which is a completely different experience. So it really depends on what people want to get out of it. And I think, the influencer marketing world is a big field. It's in the billions of dollars, and a lot of companies spend a lot of money in there. But the thing is, we look at also the return, because my end goal, the city's end goal, not mine
I want to hear
personally,
this one.
is we need to achieve 25 million visitors by 2025.
Oh my God.
And
within a year or
no, it's no. I mean,
how long do you have for this goal?
By 2025. So
from now. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So this was announced earlier this year by His Highness
Okay.
Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and so we're working towards that vision. But if I have 10 influencers coming from America, that's not the world. But I have 200 coming from 20 countries around the world. So I can tap into different audiences, because different people want to see different experiences, and they want to see a little bit of the culture. They want to eat a little bit of the food. And so the value proposition of the city changes, And, we never had Michelin star restaurants before, but now we do. We have a Michelin guide. And so there's different things. And yes, people know Dubai for its superlatives, like the Burj Khalifa, which is...
Everybody thinks it's like a city of gold and it's very expensive and there's luxury.
Yeah.
But I've done things that are pretty on budget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can
different ways and different things with different people.
I'm so glad you said that, because affordability is also one of the things as well. But I think the problem is, again, going back to the listening, or they'll just stick to what they know. Our job is easy and it's difficult at the same time. So, as much as we can try to reach to a wider audience, is always going to be
something that comes up.
Yeah, like,
yeah. But you know what I love?
Ooh.
I love no, because like this is kind of crazy. I live in America, and so just the fact like practicing as a Muslim is harder out there
Yeah.
because you kind of feel secluded or like the mosque is far. Or
Yeah.
Here it's super inclusive.
Yes.
Like there's an area out here, and there's a mosque, there's a synagogue, and there's a nightclub, and they're
Yes.
all like 200 meters like apart from each other.
Yeah.
But like what I love out here is the fact that it's all about choice.
Yes.
Like what you want to do
Yeah.
and respecting
Yes.
like what everybody else. Like you could choose what you want to do and like no judgment.
Yes.
Do what you want to do. Everything's available.
Yeah.
Like if you have an interest, it is here.
Yes.
But the fact that like I love the fact that it's a Muslim country because it inspires me to be a better Muslim. It
Yeah.
inspires me to be a better person.
Yeah.
And it's not forced.
Yes.
Like if it's forced, it kind of shuns you away
Yeah.
from that direction.
Yeah.
But for me, I always feel like
The haram culture.
yeah, the haramis. Oh my God, she walked into the nightclub. Then she walked in to
Then she went to
repent into the mosque. Did you see that, sister? I'm gonna be like, don't judge me.
But the beautiful thing about the UAE, you know, this is the only country in the world that has a minister of tolerance.
Really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
And it's so what's beautiful about the UAE, and you know, I'm probably gonna sound like one of those people that really kind of just roots, you know, but it's true because
It's
you need to
true.
come and see it. Is that everybody retains their culture and their nuances and their interests. We don't change anybody, so we're not a cocktail. We're like a basket of fruits.
You pick
because
what you want.
yeah.
Love
If you're
that.
a banana, you're a banana. If you're an orange, you're an orange. You know, we don't all look the same. We don't all speak the same. And it's beautiful. And you need to choose to say, you know what? I want to get to know more about the Emirati culture.
True.
Well, come speak to us.
Yeah.
It's open. It's open season. Oh, I want to know more about, I don't know, the Egyptian culture, you know? Hadout Masriyas down the road. Or
Or
Mace, as I call her.
I was just eating there down the road right before you came, by the way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, but you know, not to keep it very Arab, but yeah, but we have an amazing Jamaican restaurant here as well. I'm not exactly sure it's amazing. It's not as I've never been to Jamaica, so I don't know. But you basically will be able to find a variety of things that really suit your needs. And so you know, the city celebrates Diwali, we celebrate Chinese New Year, we celebrate Christmas, you know, and it is all inclusive. And so you know, there are areas in the city where you can have your Christmas tree up. Halloween just took place a couple of months ago. People celebrate Thanksgiving. If you go to those supermarkets, they sell like big turkeys, triple the size of my head, or a big head. But yeah.
No, but it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. And I'll say like as I've come here multiple times,
Yeah.
and the culture is always so positive and helpful.
Yeah.
And I think like for me, I love doing videos with Emirati people because it's like the perception is like, oh, like the women don't open their mouth, and then like it's like a shock. I'm sorry to say it like straight up, but it's like a culture shock for Americans who don't travel that much, or
Yeah.
like you know, or the Western world so much. They're like,
Yeah.
they see so many things on the news, but
Yeah.
now like with social media, I love it because you can
Yeah.
break barriers from your phone.
Yes.
You can share your story.
Yeah.
I can have full conversations. I can make it fun and lighthearted, and we
Yeah.
connect and laugh.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
And you know, coming from a journalism background, which is actually media are not meant to be biased, right? You need to have an objective view of everything. So it's really interesting to see how the media perceives this part of the world after not having been here.
True. True.
So it's funny if you know you're sitting and watching a piece of news, or you know, like whenever they have an Arab or something in like a movie, you know, and then they just throw out some hala walla walla, and I'm like, we don't even sound.
Wow, the first Arab. This is Arab.
I'm like, please, that doesn't.
No.
Or they'll put some Indian like you know, tune,
Yeah.
like, "Na, na, na," and I'm like, no, please, that it's not us.
Stop mixing it.
Not all brown people are the
True.
same.
True.
You know?
And you know, it comes out in
Yeah.
waves. Like you think
Yes,
people
yeah.
learn after certain things, but
Yeah,
even
yeah,
with
yeah.
like the World Cup in Qatar.
Yes.
I don't know if you've seen like some viral videos of people like, oh my God, there's separate lines for men and women.
Yes.
This
Oh
is
my God, I saw
sexist."
that. I
I'm
saw that.
like, woman, listen, let me tell you something. If I was at a soccer game, it's mostly guys that go
Yeah,
to these
yeah,
games.
yeah.
I mean, football game, not soccer. Sorry. I'm going to get attacked for that. And if I had an easy line away from the men, I'd be so like relieved.
But you know what's so funny? If you look at the comments, I know who you're talking about. It was the news presenter.
Yeah.
I can't remember what news channel, but it was the comments that came from people that said, oh, too bad you got respected for the first time in your life. And I thought, whoa, like we
Ouch.
don't, yeah, but we don't even have to argue anymore because people will try to find negative stories, but it's so difficult to find negative stories out of the Middle East anymore, especially from this part of the world, because all we sprout out has been very positive. We've hosted an expo. We're about to host, the region's hosting a World Cup. We have COP28, which is coming next year. And so these international events, these globally recognized events, are seeing the value that this part of the world is bringing in, and people don't realize that in this region, over 65% of the people are represented by under 40s. Woo, I'm still still there.
Stop it.
But you have a wonderful population of the youth. You have an ecosystem and infrastructure which is fantastic. You have policies that are growing. It's not like the Arab world doesn't know how to be modern. Egypt is a classic example. Iraq is a classic example. When you talk about the formation of algebra, or the formation of buildings, such as the ahrams, and all of these things, they came up from this part of the world. So it's not that it's a new thing for us to be successful. Even women empowerment. It's not a new thing for us. It's
true.
We might have been overshadowed for a little bit of time, but it doesn't mean we're like one of those volcanoes. I'm talking about volcanoes because my third grader is studying about volcanoes now. So we may not be active in that community and like burning our bras on the street, asking for equality or whatever. We might be dormant in some things because we're silently achieving our goals. We don't need to go out to the media and tell people, look at us, we're awesome, we're famous. We're already doing it. We sent a probe to Mars. 50% of our parliament is women. 50% of our ministers are women. But it's
true. The actions speak louder.
Yeah. And so we're actioning it out, and I don't think we need
to scream it at the top of your lungs. You know what I think is even one last thing I want to mention is that you guys are so tolerant, but I think like it gets scary sometimes when it's like not reciprocated, when people are not tolerant of your culture, your beliefs, and the respect. I was trying to say it like, understand I was trying to put it. I think your heart dropped when I said it's kind of scary.
Yeah.
No, but it's scary when it's. No, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I get what you're trying to say, but you know what? I think
a lot of people come here and think freedom is a certain way, like they get to do whatever, but there's also like beliefs and religions that should be respected.
Yeah. But is it really freedom though? I think we're not. I'm happy to wear this.
Yeah.
I love what I wear. I think it's classy and gorgeous. And I mean, I'm wearing a
beautiful
blue and
beautiful.
And I choose to wear it. And this is what I would wear when I go to an office or an official meeting, or it's a beautiful representation of my culture, my religion, and I love it. I choose to wear it. At one point in my life, I didn't have my shayla on my head, but I'll tell you the real reason why I'm wearing it right now. It's not for religious reasons, because I haven't dyed my hair. So I'm just being very honest. And you have a camera here and everywhere. So, but and we care about what we wear as well, and I care about. So can you imagine if you had a bad hair day, you can cover it up.
Yeah.
If you had a bad dress day, you can cover it up.
True.
What's not free about that? The freedom of choice to wear whatever I want.
It goes both ways. People think the freedom of choice is extreme left. Yeah. Like you can take off.
But you choose what works for you, and I think that's the most beautiful thing. And I understand that there are still some difficult areas in every part of the world, right? I mean, there's problems everywhere. Like if we spent all our energy and time talking about all the problems that X country had or X people had in this part of the world,
we would never move forward.
You'd never move forward. You wouldn't accomplish anything, right? And the reason why I say X is because I'm not biased towards your problem. It's fine. It's your problem, but don't compare your problems with our problems, because we do have concerns and issues, but we tackle it by saying, what's the next best thing? How can we make it better?
Amazing.
So I'd rather spend my time focusing on the positive than sitting and dwelling on the negative.
And the past. Oh my God. So Aida, I want to wrap this up by...
Is there like a fireball question?
Yes.
Ooh.
I want to wrap this up by...
On the spot stuff.
Doing rapid fire questions.
I don't know why I call it fireball. It's rapid
Fireball,
fire.
rapid fire questions.
Isn't fireball the same thing?
Don't confuse me.
Okay.
These are fun questions.
I'll do my best.
Okay. Have you ever quit a job without giving a 2 weeks notice?
Never.
Responsible. What is the proper way to break up with somebody? Yalla.
Like a lover or somebody? have a face-to-face conversation with them.
Face to face?
Absolutely.
You're not texting them, I'm sorry this isn't working for
No,
me?
but it's so disrespectful. Why
Really?
would you? Yeah. Why would you do that?
What if you're scared of the consequences?
But that's fine. I mean, conflict builds better people, and you should never turn your back on someone ever.
I
think
that.
texting somebody is so disrespectful. Okay, I
No, you're right. Because that just shows that you're weak and you're scared. Who should say I love you first, the man or the woman?
Both.
Both at the same time?
Yeah.
How would you exit out of a really bad date? I know you're married, but if you were on a terrible date and you're trying to leave, just so people could get some help, how do they exit?
Okay, so the first strategy is you actually need to have a wingman, wingwoman. So that person needs to call you 30 minutes in there, and you need to save that number as mom emergency.
That's
not friend.
Genius.
Yeah. So you need to plan ahead. Didn't I teach you anything in this podcast? You plan ahead. But that also comes out of a meeting as well, by the way. So yeah, I mean, I would reference your question. If I don't know how the meeting is going to go, 30 minutes is my limit.
Okay, then you're out.
That's bye.
Okay.
If it's going really well, I'll be like, oh, thanks. Okay, so do you need it right now? And they say, oh yeah. Then they'll make up something. So yeah. So
okay.
Code words.
Code word. Yeah. Mom's calling. Can
it's
guys
not about the looks.
And girls truly be friends, like friends?
Yes, you can.
Why is that?
Because it comes from respect. I think one of the most important things that people lose out on is respect. Self-respect and respect for the other person.
Do you don't think guys have other intentions when they're friends with girls?
I think even girls have other intentions.
That's true.
But if you don't have self-respect, why would you respect the other person? You'll be like, whatever, easy going, easy breezy. Self-respect first.
Okay, well, I'm gonna wrap this up by thanking you so much, Aida. I know this is like a month in the planning of trying to get you on this podcast. Well, it was worth it.
All good things take time.
Hey.
And then no time at all.
And I know we hang out here and there, but I learned a lot about you. And like you inspire so many women and people all over the world. And so I'm glad you got to share some of your story. I'm sure there's questions and people want to know more. So let us know in the comments if you want Aida for part 2. If she's down, we'll see the schedule. And yes, love you so much. Thank you.
I loved it, by the way. And
you had a good time?
I did. Yeah, I did. I genuinely enjoy like just hanging out with you. I think you're... Yeah, not as much as Mama Alpha, though.
Oh, God, I was just about to say. Anyways, guys, this is another episode on the Maysville Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, to like, to comment. I'm going to put Aida's information below. Please follow her, contact her, tell her how amazing she is. Until next time on the Maysville Podcast. Assalamu alaikum.